So literally I've connected my iPad, or I can do the same with my phone to my computer. And then I go to share screen in Zoom, and I can just choose phone, iPad via cable, right? And then here I am sharing my iPad. That's literally what you're seeing on the screen is what I've got here, right? And I share this because it's like, you don't know what people don't know. And it's ridiculously easy to do this. And if you have a tablet, I like to use a tablet because it's just more room to show things, right, on a tablet. But it works just the same on the phone too, right?
What's the cord called?
Oh, it's just that regular, it's whatever that's the cable that the regular
the lightning cable that comes with your iPhone?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you plug your phone into your cable and into your iPhone, then you go, right? So here I am, and I'm sure I'll jump onto the iPhone later. Here I am and here's my deckable timeline. So I can just, like, these are all the decks that I've got. And if I choose Values Jam as an example, I can just choose 1, 2, or 3 cards at random, right? Really easy. And that's actually exactly the same as this option. It's just, it doesn't choose 3 cards for you. This option, you have to choose cards by hand. So let me show you that. So here's 3 cards. It shuffles the deck, right? And then I stop. So I actually influence the randomness because the shuffling changes if I choose that. And now I've got these cards and I'm literally, and I realized I need to label this point because not everyone realizes they can actually, touch and zoom this. And why would you do that? Well, because I'm choosing my values and I say freedom's the most important, love's second, and safety's third, right? So now I've done a visual ranking. That's way cooler than SurveyMonkey, right? I've just done a surveying tool with my audience that was fun. That's an oxymoron that we've made come true, right? So there's how you actually do Deckable. And that's the card sort, right? And that's a very classical thing to do with a deck. Oh, no, I'm going to change my mind because I'm a human being, right? That's what we do all the time. We don't stick with the same plan. So I can open back up the tray from the bottom and come along and say, no, you know what? Independence is important to me. And so's nature, right? And then I close those down and I can go and say, well, you know what? Safety is not that important. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to drop that out. And those are my 3 now. So you basically can dynamically make choices. And I've done this in so many product meetings where you're basically valuing and debating things. Everyone in the team can have the deck and justify their prioritization, right? So it's a really fun way to do this. And then, and if I wasn't actually at the meeting, I could just go, well, let me just journal and send Fred a note why I think this is so cool, right? And then I just type away. And I can even just talk to the computer at this point. This is what I feel, why we should do this. Talk to you later, Nick. And that's ridiculously easy to type that and talk to the phone. So then I stop, come back out of there, and it's saved my journal away, so it's there as it is, right? And then I can just share it with a friend, right? So so then that person will receive Deckable receive that note on their phone, right? So then you're using cards to make decisions, and then you're sharing your decisions or your thinking with other people, right? And that's just one use of it, because we can go to the other side where just randomly give me an inspirational card for the day. There's many ways to use Deckable, right? But this container at the bottom shows me all the cards that exist, and I can flip them over if I want to. I can filter them if there was filtering tags in there. If I've got, I think yours have different suits in Maria, for example, right? I think you can filter down quickly from that little icon there. So if I just want to find the guidebook, those are the 4 cards that explain how to use the deck, right? And I can pop that up and read all about the deck, and then just clear my filter. But the other thing that's really cool here is I can go back to the decks and I can choose a different deck. So I can go through this deck and say, I want to bring this in as well. So now I close that down and I can flip all the cards, or I can choose this flip mode here. And I can just, flip over the cards and I've got my choices there. So I can mix and match from multiple decks, which just makes it really powerful to combine ideas and communicate and think clearly with what, Deckable is a ideation and strategization tool that you didn't realize the power, the potential for this in the workplace is pretty enormous. One of the creators we have on the platform has sold 2,500 copies of her deck to one company. So basically, the company had a wellness initiative. The board said we should make this an initiative, so they gave the problem to HR. HR didn't know what to do, and they bought several thousand copies of this deck. And we're now talking to them about deploying 12,000 copies of Deckable to them. So the potential for that is pretty enormous. Anyway, that's how you basically go through and do a card sort in Deckable. And the other type of usage here is you can do spreads. So you scroll down and you can pick from one of the spreads. So if I pick this spread and now I shuffle the deck, and I can flip the cards over if I want to see them, or I can choose them blind. And there we go. And I reveal the cards. I can flip them all over. And each card has a description. So I can just focus on an individual card and scroll down and read the description of the card, the description of the question and description of the card inside the spread. It's all there, very easy to do. So yeah, so that's nice and easy. And then basically you've got your decks to choose. You can do card sorts or freeform sorts. You've got the full access to the timeline here. So and you can journal and share from all that information. So it's very, very simple, but very powerful to be able to do this on your phone and a tablet. For those of you who are not aware of all that, so the idea of adding and removing cards is a lot of fun and very, very simple. So
Nick, a quick question. How did you do it so that you could dictate? I don't see an option on my phone for
okay.
turning on the
there's a microphone there.
No, not on the phone.
Okay, just what do you want? What device are you on?
I'm on my Android.
Okay, it should be.
I'll see where you are showing it. I've got down at the bottom. I've got journal and the share.
So I popped in the keyboard there, and then there's the microphone.
Oh wait, how do you get to the keyboard?
Okay.
So never mind, that I got, and I do not have a microphone on the keyboard. Okay.
That might be. I've not actually done that on an Android, but I would be surprised if Android can't do that, because obviously Android is fiercely in competition with Apple to be as good, if not better. So
I'll play around and see if I can find a microphone. But
yeah, okay.
Okay,
I'll go look for that, because I know I've done that a lot, but I've not done it on my Android. Let me just.
Okay, I found a microphone.
You did?
I did. Okay, cool. It's not on the keyboard. There's a little little row of icons that you can do at the top. Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah. Usually I mean, I don't. Okay, well, you've solved that for me. The other thing I don't know how to do is, I know it's really easy to record your screen on an iPhone or an iPad, but I have not figured that how to do it on a Android, but it must be possible too.
So record a screen or a screenshot?
Record a screen. So basically, as you're playing with Deckable, you can move the cards around and you can start recording and then it just gives
Oh.
you a video. Like I can show
Okay,
you
cool.
how I do. So like here on my tablet,
Yep.
I share the screen. So here it is. Share, resume, share. There we go. And then all I do on my tablet, I just drop down. And I've got this configured. So there's my record. Oh, I can't do it because I'm in at the moment sharing my screen to
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Zoom. But basically, that's how you would start a recording. And then when you're done, you just hit that button again, right? And then when you're done, you end up with in your photo library is a video of what you've just made, right? So,
Okay.
I made this video this morning. That's not it. Yeah, I made this video this morning in Deckable on my iPhone. And
Okay, so there we go.
all the different. So you guys see, I won't show you all of that, but I made a deck and speculatively sent it to somebody and just recorded the video. So it's very simple.
Okay, cool. So one thing that I know that would be nice that I would like to have in the journal is the ability to expand the card, to zoom in on it so that I could
Oh, yeah. Okay. Right.
remember what card I pulled.
Right. And it's at the top, right? You can flip
Yeah.
through the cards.
Yep, I do.
Okay.
And sometimes that's good. And some people have really small print, like the one that, that you just did.
No.
I have a card and I can't read it.
Right. Okay. And I know, like, we added Zoom on the cards from the card info page, right? So I knew as soon as we added that, we'll then be asked to add that to the journal page. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's a good, I thought of that literally yesterday. I was like, okay, that's going to be a request soon. So there we go. Okay.
Yes. You predicted, and there it is.
Yeah, there we go. That's fine.
So Nick, how did you get screen video on the iPhone? What did you do to get that?
Oh, okay. Literally, you just on the phone, you just pull down.
Okay.
It's the control. You know what this looks like?
Yeah, I
The
do.
control center. Now, if you haven't configured your control center, you may not have recording in your control center because you can. So you then need to go to the settings and set up your control center. And when you want this button here, the record button, a little round one. And as soon as it's recording, you get this little red. The red means it's recording, and then when you stop recording, you tap the red and it stops.
Thank you.
And that's just such a great way, because if someone asks me something, or if you get stuck in Deckable, here's where I am, you can record a video and send it like, oh, look, you can show me what you're seeing, right? It's just and it's a great way to share your deck. One of the things I really want to do more of, and it's quite hard to do, is to actually have a camera looking down on me playing with the iPad, because when you see the video, I don't think you realize how cool it is that you're doing this, right? Because you just see things growing and shrinking and moving around, but you don't know how someone's doing it. And there's something very special to me about that. When you talk about meditation, people talk about return to the breath and focus, and that's all the teaching around that. With Deckable, when you're pinching and zooming cards, I don't need to tell you to return to anything. You're right in the moment doing that. There's something magical about pinch and zoom. When you're arranging cards, you're not thinking about the person that nearly tried to give you road rage on the way to work this morning. You're just there, right? And that's a very powerful experience that we didn't design into Deckable. It just happened to be there. But I've noticed that it's there, and the mindfulness that which is like the tools, right? When you use Instagram or Facebook, you're just using it. You're not enthralled in the moment with the focus of what's going on. Relative to the deckable experience. So. And some of that could be the novelty of deckable, right? I mean, but I think one of the things I recommend, and I mention it to all of you guys because it's worth emphasizing that, because unless you get to that pinch and zoom moment where you've made a collage of cards, that's when you begin to feel like you've actually created something, and it feels and then I'm asking you're asking yourself to journal in that moment. Anything in a personal growth reflection thing is challenging. So we have these natural human resistances to these things, but when you're pinch and zooming and you're focused, you've forgotten your resistance and you're in the moment doing it. And I think that's pretty special. Anyway. So I don't, you have any specific questions?
I do. So
okay.
I do. Like when you bring up your spread, there's a button called focus on the far left. And I have not figured out what that button does.
Okay. Let me.
So I would love to know what its purpose is.
Okay. Yeah. So let me share the screen. And there's basically that same button in both the freeform and the card sort, right? So here I'm in card sort.
Yep.
This is a spread, okay?
Yep.
And if it's, as soon as I focus on it, it focuses on that and brings that up that page, right?
Oh, so all right. Can you go back to one screen?
See how one of the cards is in focus because it's bright. The middle card is bright.
Yes. All right. Well,
so if I click on this follow your heart now, it takes me into the focus. I can see the full card. I can read all the text. If there was a video in here, I'd be able to watch the video or listen to the audio, right? And now that card's in focus. But if I change to flip, if you see that, so I've changed the mode to flip at the top.
Yep.
If I click on each card, the first thing it does, it puts it into focus, but it doesn't jump anywhere. And now now that it's in focus, if I touch it again, it flips it. So when I'm in flip mode, I can touch the cards and it never pops up a screen. The first time I touch a card, it moves it into focus and then it flips it.
Yeah, I'm not getting the flip, I'm getting the focus.
And if I want to get to the card in full, I can just click this bottom at see the word focus, strength, that's the card called strength, that's the card called follow your heart. Right. And if I can click on the button strength at the bottom here and it pops up there.
Okay, so I am not seeing that on the Android.
Okay. Let me.
I can, so, all right, I do a card deck of 3. So I say, give me 3 of them. And, I do my little shuffle. And if I click on the card, it opens it up into the info screen. And it did not have the word focus. It just has 2 basics open-ended.
Well, it depends what your cards are, because the word focus was what was confusing. What I was showing you there was one of the cards was called focus. So
okay.
That didn't help.
That didn't help. Okay, got it. And I'm not getting it so that it flips, although I know that there are occasions where if you touch the card, it flips because I've experienced that, but I'm not getting it right this moment.
Okay, just a minute. Oh, I'm
doing the 2 basics. I can do the flip ball, I can do the mix, I can do the grid. I can click one. All right, now I'm clicking a single one after I've done gone through flip ball, mix, and grid. if I click one of them, it'll flip it.
Okay,
Um,
I've just opened up my, I've just opened up my iPad. I don't actually know, let me think.
And so just to reiterate, the focus is supposed to bring one card.
The focus is just meant, so let me. Hmm. Oh.
Focus makes it bigger.
Yeah, focus just takes it, focus takes it to like, there's the deck info page, which is all the information about the deck. And then there's the card info page, which is all the information about the card. And focus takes you to the card info page.
Right, but how is that then different? Then, you've got your spread and then you click on one of them without clicking on the word focus and it pops up, goes to the deck info
Oh,
page.
well, because if that's the so I don't, I'm trying to, I don't know why, but my eye, trust.
Do you have a cable in there?
I have a cable, but it's not,
Okay,
anyway, I'm on my iPad. I mean, it's exactly the same. I really doubt there's a difference in the interface, but if you are in, so this button at the top is a mode, right? You're either in flip mode or you're in focus mode.
Okay.
You with me?
yeah, and does it say that someplace? I've got like freeform.
It says that flip or focus,
Yep, I see that.
right? So that's a mode choice. If you, my tablet just decides to switch off all the time. I don't understand why. So basically, if you, and whichever, the one that's purple is the one it's selected. So at the moment, mine's in focus mode, which will click on it and take you to the card info page. And if you turn it into flip mode, so now flip is purple and the other one is grayed out. And now when I click on a card, it flips it over.
So is that mode screen that you're showing us, is that contingent upon the spread that you've selected? Because I've got for my, like when I get my spread, my 2-card spread, for example, I've got focus, flip, grid, mix, flip all.
Oh, that's because you're not in the spread screen at that moment. In that moment, you're here.
Yeah, okay, but so I picked like the
so you're here in that mode, in that moment.
And then how do I get to the mode that you were just in?
Well, that was because that was a spread, not a freeform. So there's two modes. Well, depending when you come back from. So when I start here, if I pick this, or this one, I end up in freeform card store, which is where you've got grid and mix at the top, right?
Yeah.
And so this one you can move the cards around at any point.
Yeah.
But below here, you start getting into the spreads, and the spreads you can't move things around, but the cards are in a fixed position. And if you haven't got any spreads on your deck, or the deck doesn't have spreads, you won't have this option. Depends what deck you pick.
Okay, so I'm going back to Yeah, it's hard to find where I've got the QBasics again. So it says, you know, I come in and it says draw cards. Oh, I keep getting this message every once in a while. Please return to your current draw and trying
Because
to.
you're several deep, your layers deep into it. So if you start
Yep.
from the home, if you start from the home screen,
That's where I'm headed.
right? So
Back
if
to
you're
home.
back, if you're back here on the home screen,
That'll
then
take a moment to come up. All right. So then I pick a card deck. So in this case,
Yeah.
I'm picking.
so if I
The
pick, and if the
quotables.
deck, the first two options are free form. So this row of quick draw options, that's basically a free form card sort. And the same with this, that's a free form card sort, right?
Okay,
Below there, these are the spreads for the deck, right?
all right. I think what's happened is I have a deck that I just put like the quotables.
Yeah,
Um,
that probably doesn't have any spreads.
Oh, actually, it says, yeah, QBasics, and there's no spreads. So that's the issue then.
So then
Okay.
because you don't have any spreads, it just does free form card sorts, right?
Got it.
So if so there's quotables, and then there's no more choices, right? That's it. There's two things.
Try to exit out of this one deck. Okay.
So
All right. So now if I go down there, now I can have the things. All right, option A, option B.
and one of the things to be aware of is that the way I think about spreads, it's like scaffolding. A spread is a structure that holds things in place, right? And it's like when you make scaffolding around a building, you're holding things in place, right? Whereas when you do free form, you can you can move them around, do anything. There's no rules. Everything goes, right? One of the things we're planning to add is to basically you can do a spread, which is like, you know, a zodiac spread or whatever spread you want. And then you can unlock the spread that's like saying, throw away the scaffolding. And now I've got a free form, but I use the spread to help me pick the cards and move things around. And now I can abandon that and do whatever I want.
So Nick, can you add a spread after it's been published, after a deck is published?
Yes, you can. Yes. So one thing to show you there. Oh, not there. Do you know how to so I can go to I go to a deck that I've created, right? And here I view this deck, and you'll see here it's got 4 selected spreads and 6 custom spreads.
Right.
So you go to custom spreads, and if you haven't got any, it'll say 0. But then you come here, and then you can create a new spread. And you give it a name. And then you also choose how many cards you want the spread to have. Okay, so if you want, I'm going to have a 2-card spread. There's my 2-card spread, and I can take these, and as I click on the card, there's handlebars. So I can just rotate the card like so. And I can make one card bigger than another, or make them all the same size, whatever you want. And then the key thing is you can also choose these labels. So you can put A and B, or, hot, cold, right?
Okay.
So, and then when you actually run that spread in Deckable, you will get, if you fill in a question, it will show you the question in Deckable, and it will show you the description in Deckable for the cards in the spread, right? And one thing to be aware of is if you let me show. Let's go. We'll jump back to that. There we go. So here I can, if I've already downloaded Quotables on my phone, right, on my tablet, and you see it's got 41 cards and one guidebook, but no spreads. If I was to have added something, all I need to do is just remove from downloads. If I click that, it's basically removed the version of the deck from my phone, and then it will then re-download the latest version of your deck with your new spreads added, right?
Okay.
And then all you have to do when you come back to there, you see now Quotables isn't downloaded, so I can just start downloading it. And it will now download it with the latest information.
Okay, great. And so can you add videos too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have to go back to that page, the page we had?
Yeah, you can, well, it depends where you want to edit. If you're adding a video to the deck, you just edit the deck, and all we need is the ID of the YouTube URL. But if you want to put a video against every card, you need to go into the spreadsheet and put the video URL in the video URL column, right? So, that's spreads, yeah. And so that now that you can delete one deck and then reload it, it saves a lot of time and the headache of having to delete all your deck. Previously you had to delete all the decks on your phone and reinstall the app, and that was annoying. So one of the things I've asked people to think about is, for the next 30 days, try using Deckable every day, and using it to draw a card, to journal on it, reflect, meditate, because I want to hear from you what's good and bad about that experience, right? Because if there's anything we can improve, because really, if all the creators are not using Deckable to draw cards, to get inspired, to solve problems, to journal and reflect, it's like we're asking people to do something with the decks that we're not doing ourselves.
Right.
And I want to hear what that experience feels like. And I want you to try it for 30 days, because it's like, do it once. It's not an experience. 30 days is something, an habitual. And the reason I suggest it, because some people have told me they're already doing this, and they're bouncing up and down with excitement about how transformative they're finding it. And I feel like, Deckable is about card decks, but it's also really a mental wellness app, because you can meditate and journal and use these cards to set intentions and all that kind of thing, right? So if we're not using it like that, it's hard to expect other people to use it like that. And if we do use it like that, we will come up with better things, more features, more possibilities of how we should, what would make it easier, etc. Right? So that's what I'm trying to make, because then right now I'm very focused on removing friction. Like, there's bumps, things people that are new to Deckable don't understand, don't see. We're trying to solve those problems for them, so that in a month's time, when 100 new people turn up to Deckable, they don't have the same experience as people a month ago. And the people who arrive in 2 months' time will have a new experience again, right? And at one of these months, we will hit this amazing experience. People are like, oh my God, and they're just excited and they started using it excessively, right? I mean, this is how software works. Pinterest didn't become Pinterest overnight. Facebook wasn't Facebook kind of, within 5 minutes of being Facebook. You iterate on these things, people use new features in new ways, and you move forward from there, right? So I think I talked before about, wanting to get to this thing called 5 Friends Friday, where we basically, everyone on Deckable every Friday gets 5 invites to invite 5 friends. And what happens is they get a free deck when they first join Deckable. And I don't want to do that yet because I want to make sure the experience end to end is smooth and painless. And when they get their free deck and they start using it, they're going to invite friends. They're going to be enthusiastic about it. And so I want to get to the point where we have to remove friction until we get there. And one of the things I want to do is to empower you guys to, bring your first customers on board. And maybe these are friends and family, maybe these are existing clients. And so we're basically going to put together a couponing system where you can basically buy coupons for a nominal fee and then basically give a deck away to 10, 20, 50, 100 people. And then if they're in your community and they're using your deck in a certain way, you can gather feedback about how people use your deck and their experience, and you can figure out how to actually support them better. So then you've then got to, imagine here we are with Deckable with 500 creators. Then if each creator has 10, 20, 50, 100 customers with their deck, we're getting all of those right experiences validated and confirmed, and we're getting feedback to improve that experience for everyone. And when that's smooth, then we want to do 5 Friends Friday. And I think when we're ready for that, we get Deckable to 100,000 users. Well, then it's easy from there to imagine getting to 500,000 and to 1 million users. And that's when things become to be really, fun and exciting and engaging and very, compelling, right? Because there's a lot of people who can discover your deck at that point, right? But to get there, it's a team effort from everyone on Deckable to make that a possibility, right? How are you doing, Sue? Are you getting your questions answered? And Rayshona, how are you doing? I hope you're there still listening in.
Yes, still listening in.
Cool.
Yes, getting questions answered. Thank you. I'm not really kind of got that greatly into it. My deck's on there, but I haven't really had that much chance to get to grips with it, which is why I wanted to come on here today. So that's been really helpful, and the features you're talking about that are coming will be really good as well. I like the idea of the community,
right,
and sharing, and I think some of the things about the promotion and having materials to help us promote and join together and so on would be really good.
No, it's great. I love Maria is wonderful. She's it's cool to have someone. It's so funny. It feels like I tell her about our marketing strategies. I feel I have to because that's what she does for a living, right? So it's like, oh yes. Wow. And she's asked an insane number of questions, which so many people do, right? And it's made me realize we need to provide answers to all those questions, and the community page is definitely part of the way to do that. So, I think I feel super energized and motivated to recognize we're here with all these people who've all loaded their decks, and we're starting also to get some big names coming on board. So I'm very excited by that. It just because it just adds to the more of us are here, the more we can learn, the more momentum we can add, the more we can share, and people who are then not part of it start to suffer extreme FOMO and want to be, right? And it was funny the other day. There was a lady in Ireland who I had reached out to twice, and just the typical, you don't get a response because someone's, cautiously not interested. But you don't know that. You don't even know if they saw the email. And yet 2 days ago, she booked into my calendar, hey, you contacted me ages ago. I'd love to know more about it now, right? So there's a wonderful opening up of things as you move along and get traction and momentum, right? So we basically one of our authors introduced us to Pezi, who's a big therapy publisher. They have all the DBT, ACT, and CBT decks, and they're fully on board with Deckable. And other creators from that community are coming too. Like Maria's with a publisher, and she's brought the publisher to Deckable. So we're working with their authors and bringing more people, and she's part of different community groups that are doing that. So these things are so insanely hard to do, to get momentum, to get people to join. But now we've joined it. It's really like, what's that? Who's that guy that had fun painting the fence? Very American.
Yeah, I know.
Tom, is that Tom Sawyer? I forget.
Oh, yeah, you mean he got other people to paint the fence?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and we're literally at that point now where there's enough of us. If we look like we're having fun painting the fence, everyone wants to come and paint the fence, right? And I think that's what's building and happening, because we need that. People, if you think about everything you've ever bought that was newish, you didn't buy it the day you heard of it. You bought it, that local restaurant that opened, everyone's raving about, it took you 20 months to go to see it. You heard of it 10 times and you finally made it, right? Whereas something else, you went the first day you heard of it. Not everyone's bought something on Etsy or stayed in an Airbnb or traveled in an Uber or bought on Amazon, right? And we all have resistances to things, and we're all busy. It's not like we're sitting there with like twiddling our thumbs thinking, what new app can I go and play with today, right? So it's our job to make people not be able to resist trying it right now. Because if they don't try it right now, it slides right the way down to the 20th thing on their list. And that never gets done, right? So it's just a lot of energy and positivity, I think. And there's a wonderful one of the reasons I gave away the deck on Lurk Me, because it basically captures there's 25 laws that explain how social engineering works in a kind of social context and way to get people to participate. And there's a wonderful rule called 1990, which basically applies to the whole internet. And basically 1% of people create, 9% of people comment, and then 90% of people we use the word lurk to describe that. They're literally sitting there in the shadows, reading and passively participating, but they're not actually saying anything or adding anything. Those are why you do social media, because there's always 100 times more people that are doing nothing but are aware of you, that are about to buy from you, than the ones you actually see. The people you engage with is like 10% of the world, but the other 90 are silent but aware of your existence and interested, and maybe they're about to make that step to step on board, right? So our job is to make it fun and easy for those people to come and join in and feel like they're missing out by not joining in. And it's a very FOMO is a very powerful force, right? So
I have two more questions. One,
yeah.
Are you going to have other ways to pay, like Stripe and PayPal?
I'm not sure. Well, we are using Stripe right now. So on Deckable.com, we are using Stripe. I'm not sure we're going to use PayPal. I mean, we may do. I mean, obviously you can pay inside the app, inside the Apple app. So you can buy decks inside there. I'm not sure about Stripe. I'm sorry about PayPal. I mean, I think we may add it in time, but I don't think it's, I'm not sure that it's, because you can't use PayPal to buy anything on your iPhone, right? You use Apple's Apple Pay and your details set up on your iPhone, right?
I don't know. I guess I buy most things from my computer. Not
right. Okay. So anyway, well, I mean, we're literally mirroring Audible. That's kind of like who our role model that we're trying to grow up and become. And so that you can buy in there, that you can buy using a credit card on audible.com, or you can buy in-app purchases through your iPhone. And we do plan to add Audible. We do plan to add to be able to buy inside the Google app, but there's some technical reasons why that is challenging right now, so we're not there. But yeah, I mean, we may, if I get a lot of responses from people that want that, it's just another thing to do. Like, it's from all of the list of things that we could do with the
Right.
development effort, is PayPal an essential thing right now? I'm not sure. So
Okay, and when do we find out, or how do we find out if anybody's bought our?
yeah, that's getting top of my list to do. I have that data. I just need to make sure I give it you in a way that doesn't create more questions than it. So I just haven't focused on that yet, but I have the raw data. I just need to make it look pretty. I'd love to be able to give you every customer's name, right? But I can't do that because of privacy laws. And so I basically want to enable it so that a customer can say, I want my the people I buy decks from to be able to know my identity, right? And if people tick that box, and maybe we missed the thing because we've just launched. Maybe we should have had that in there, so when people join, that box was there to tick. And so then, but I think we were so focused on getting approved by Apple, there was nothing. getting that to that point was like, that's too much. I can't think about it, but that's what I want to be able to do, because I'd love to be able to give you the emails, right, of the people, as long as they want to do that, because then you get to add. But did you set up a thank you note for your deck?
Yeah,
So so when people buy your deck, they receive your thank you note. And I'm like, that's been the email that mentioned that caused more activity. You know, people read a lot of stuff and then do nothing, but that one, everyone dived in and wrote their thank you note. So that was very impressive. That everyone obviously decided that was a great idea. And it's kind of cute, I think. Like, you don't get that when you buy something on, Etsy or something, right? It's just a generic, because there's too many products on Etsy, right? Whereas here's the thank you note is specific to your deck. So, and you could include your links to your website, to your email, to whatever you want, right? So, so in the meantime, we will soon provide that. So you'll see all the sales with the price that it was sold at, because obviously you can change the price of your deck, day by day if you want to. And so if you're, so we have to report that all in the right format for you, and tell you which store it was sold in and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
great, thank you.
And I kind of realized I wish we had it, because I'm sure it would drive more activity, but I have to just somehow be pragmatic about, we can't do everything all at the same time because there's just too much to do. So not there yet. So soon.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe what you could do is just have the ability to, quote, sign up on the mailing list for that person instead of having to divulge all of the information. I don't know. It's a thought.
So I missed, I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if what you could do is, instead of trying to capture all of the details for the person to pass on to the creator, if you could just say, tick here, sign up for mailing list or something.
Right. And that's something along the lines that we have to put that tick box in the process. And I think there's a challenge where you put that tick box, because if you put it too soon, you could actually dissuade someone from purchasing them.
Yep.
Yeah, we could put that on our thank you note.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Right. That's what people have been doing is, sign up here with the links. So you can put links in your thank you note, right? So
Oh,
Yeah. Some more editing to do. Thank you.
that's okay.
so
Yeah.
Nick, I have two things. One is I have been trying to put one of the creators in as one of my team members, and she
Okay.
does not show up. And it would be
Oh,
really
you know why?
annoying.
Okay, so she has to just say she wants to be on it. She has to edit her account and say she wants to be
Oh, put on the
on a
team.
team. Because basically, I didn't want to pull up a full list of everyone that's on the platform. It's just the people who've elected to be a team member.
Okay. And then could you put the list alphabetically? That would be helpful.
Okay, I could do that. Yeah, that's true. That's
And-
easy.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, Vicky was the one who is responsible for putting our messages from the Reach Deck online. However, I have a very strong interest in being able to follow the sales and things like that, because I help with the accounting process and splitting up the revenue amongst the 5 authors.
Right.
If I'm a team member, does that cover that?
Yeah, you'd be able to see. Yeah, you would.
Okay, well, I just have to get my deck finished so I can become a creator, so I can become a team
Right.
member, right?
There you go. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
almost
Yeah,
there with
I
the
mean,
book, by the way.
the team thing is, I don't know. I added the team, and then as soon as you do that, you realize it's very basic right now, but it just means people can edit your deck, right? So, or see the information around the deck,
Yep.
right? So,
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll tell her that she needs
awesome.
to.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. I
And
mean,
yeah.
this is really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Oh, are
Very
you going to
much.
have more calls, or is tonight the last one?
Tonight's the last one of this little. I think having done when I did the last lot, I felt I feel like it's good to do them in short bursts, and do a few of them. That way, I basically turn up, gather. I mean, I'm willing to do
You got
them
it.
from a point of educational point of view, but basically, I use this as kind of like an information gathering, and I gather all this feedback and then try and go and implement it. If I listened all the day long, I'd get nothing done and we wouldn't move forward. So it's that balance of the two. But I want to be more. I think I was just so exhausted in that 3 weeks after launch that I wanted to do it, but I felt like I got to solve this and this and this before we get to that point. So I don't feel the same pressure right now to solve anything. There's less urgency for anything that needs to be super done, and engaging is the problem. The problem is I have to do this two sessions a day at least. Otherwise, I can't just do one, because I need
Got
to
it.
cover Europe, and then I need to cover Australia, and US kind of gets the benefit of having 2 choices in a day. But literally from tomorrow, I'm going to Italy. So,
Have a good time.
Lucky
Yeah.
you.
yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna change my time zones and how I'll figure that out when I get there. So yeah, because I'm basically going to be in Europe for the next probably 5 months or something. So
Oh, wow.
I'm going
Long
to go to
time.
UK after this, and then I don't know. I just decided I'm going to go nomadic, right? So I talked about going nomadic, and then I was like, well, why don't I just do it? So I'm doing it, but it's a little daunting.
Sounds like a deck in progress.
Yeah, exactly. Nomadic deck. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, great to catch up with everyone. Super enthused, obviously, to get more people on board. So more recommend if you know anyone that should be on board, that has a deck to push them along this direction. I think that's the only thing I think I have kind of twinges of. I've been so engrossed in the managing of the process and supporting it that I haven't done as much outreach as I used to be doing. And I enjoy that, but I haven't had the time. So yeah. All good.
Safe travels.
Yeah, thank
have a
you.
Great time. All right, thanks, Nick.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone. Bye, Roshana. Bye.
Bye.